dark streets of Detroit. He climbs the fire escape that leads to his apartment that he has stolen from his landlord. He slips through the window again, unnoticed. He pulls the blue and black close-fitting mask from his face. He drops it to the floor. The stranger is not from this part of the world. Although he is American by birth, he lived and died in a far-off land. He looks to his right arm. There are 2 samurai blades, one on the front of his forearm and the other on the rear. They are both connected to his muscles. All it takes is for him to flex, and the blades spring forward, ready for action. There is only one on the left arm, and it operates in the same deadly manner. He does not feel human anymore. That is, until he was told to kill the 2 men on the pier. He had no desire to see either one die, but orders are orders, and he has always followed orders, even before the war. That's when he was nothing more than a private. Then the war broke out, and his rank climbed. Well, that is, until he died. He looked up into the mirror. His face was scarred, and the remains of his many surgeries still lingered over his head and brow. He had some sort of metal plate that surrounded his left eye. It traced its way down to his nose, coming to a point just above his upper lip, which was also stitched. His right eye had a slight red glow about it. It was not his natural eye, of course. No, it was fashioned somehow from mechanics. No matter how hard he tried, he could not remember much of his life before, or how he had so many mechanical parts running through his body. What he could remember was a bright flash, then nothing but red. He remembered waking inside of some sort of hospital. No, not a hospital. It was something else. A warehouse, maybe. He could not feel most of his extremities. He did, however, feel powerful. More powerful than he had ever felt in his life. He remembered going on several missions after that. He was sent to kill hundreds of people. He was good at his job. So good, in fact, that his creators gave him the nickname of Death Calling. Because if he came calling on you, death would follow. He heard the blinds rustle. He looked over his shoulder to see 2 men coming through the same window in which he had just come. "It's done. We were sent to take you back now," the taller of the 2 men said as he walked closer to Death Calling. "No," Death Calling said in a voice just above a whisper. "You have no choice. Your job is done here," the older of the 2 men said as he too began approaching Death Calling. "Who is Jason?" Death Calling said as he peered over his shoulder. The 2 men stopped their approach and shared a glance toward one another. "Where did you hear that name from?" the older man asked. "It's in my head. Also, Eric. Who are they?" Again, the 2 men looked to one another. "Let's go before the police discover you. It was bad enough you left the bodies to be found," the younger man said. "No, I am not going with you this time." A third time, the 2 men looked at one another. "Our boss will not like this, Death Calling."